What's going on, baby? Alright, Wednesday, and guess what? It's time for me to tell y'all kids a little bit of a story. I'm gonna tell you a story, guys. Alright, so a story. This is a great lesson learned, and this is actually something that was brought up the other day at one of my personal training sessions. So, I was a quitter. I actually quit one time. I quit. And I know it's not like me to quit, right? Winners never quit. Quitters never win. That's something that was said on the karate studio I went to as a kid. And this is when I pulled the trigger one time. I quit. What happened? 10th grade. Sophomore year, okay? I was playing lacrosse and football. So both for the high school. And like I said, if you know my story, I was a pretty good lacrosse athlete. I super froshed as a freshman, so played at varsity, started on varsity, pretty much the entire season. So it was a pretty big deal for a kid who was 13, 14 playing with kids who were 18 years old, Big deal to me. So my sophomore year, I kind of just got burnt out, I guess. And I didn't want to do it anymore. And the reason I didn't want to do it is because I just thought about how much time I was giving up in practice. My time, right? Because my time is so valuable. And I was giving it up at practice. And this is time when I could have been hanging out with my friends, could have just been at home, could have been working out, because that was when I was really getting into the gym and I wanted to be training all the time. I was big back then. I was probably like 220 as a sophomore. I was a big dude, I was really into lifting. And I was kind of like, screw this, I'm done. This isn't my thing. So I mustered up the courage, to go in and tell my coach that I wasn't going to be at practice, and kind of word trickled through the day, and people were approaching me, asking me why I quit, why would you do that, you had this, you had that, you're such a great player, part of the team, blah, blah, blah. And bottom line, it just wasn't in my heart. I didn't want to do it. So end of the day, I get a call from one of my teachers who said, Joe, you need to go down to this office, your lacrosse coach wants to talk to you, all right? So it's my coach. And this is what he said, okay? And he said everything a high school going to college athlete would want to hear. He told me, dude, think about your future. Think about college. He's like, think about the scholarship. He's like, you are going to be the captain. I need you. You're the leading, defenseman, blah, blah, blah right now. This is a major role for you. We need you to fit that piece of the puzzle on the team. And that's just what any, like I said, any high school, college athlete wants to hear. This guy is just pretty much begging me, right, to be on this team. He needs me. He needs me to be on this team. But guess what? I wasn't having it. It wasn't clicking to me, because that's not what I wanted to hear. That's not the reason that I wanted to stay on the team. So anyway, he said, you have a day to think about it. If not, get your stuff out, blah, blah, blah. We're cool though, etc. So the next morning rolls around. I get an email from another coach, the assistant head coach of the lacrosse team. And he's like, hey, can you come down in the morning? I want to talk to you for 5 minutes. And I respect the guy, or I like the guy a lot. So I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll go down, give him 5 minutes of my time. I go down. And here I sit down, and I'm kind of like, I don't want to hear the same spiel that the other coach gave me, but, in my head, I didn't say it to him, but I just was like, okay, I just want to be respectful. So here we go, game changer. This dude changes up the playing field on me. He tells me a damn story. He tells me a story about a good friend that he knew when he was younger, right? And that you ran into him years later, at a Wawa convenience store or something like that. And then they ended up catching up and talking. And pretty much what this guy said is, he went down the road less traveled, and how it really worked out for him in the end. And he couldn't really see why he needed to do this, or why he did it. Nobody could understand why he did it, but he went down the road. And pretty much what he was trying to tell me is, listen, I don't care what you do in life, but you're the kind of guy that goes down the road less traveled. And staying on this lacrosse team, even though you can't see the benefits of it now, right? Down the road, it's going to have an influence on your life in some way, shape, or form. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, damn, he's good. So the whole day, this conversation was running through my head. Like what he said, and it had nothing to do with lacrosse. Not once did he mention lacrosse. He didn't mention anything about scholarships or college or anything. He just told me a story about his friend. Blew my mind. So what did I do? I thought about it. I didn't want to be that quitter. I didn't want to be that quitter of the guy who didn't go down the road less traveled and led him to a bigger success, something more imaginable that he couldn't ever imagine currently. So went back to lacrosse, had a different mindset, burning passion, showed up, right back to it, killed it the rest all the way through my senior year, started every game, captain, you name it. And then if I didn't make that decision, I probably wouldn't be where I am today. Seriously, honest to God. That led to a chain of events that I mapped out down the road that I wouldn't be where I am right now in my life, in my place, where I am right here. Crazy. So the coolest part is that I actually personal train that man who told me that story currently, right now, and we're pretty damn tight. So I just want to say thanks for giving me that little tidbit of advice, because it changed my life, and it probably wasn't something you were thinking back then. You were just trying to be a good guy and a good friend, which you've always have been. And to the other coach, hey, I love you too. You said exactly what any other athlete would want to hear. It's just a different perspective. So just think, I guess, take away from this is go down the road less traveled. The load, that's funny. And then there's always two ways you can say something, or a different way to relay a message for somebody that will catch their ear. All right, guys, I'm gonna go have a great day today. Change some lives. You do the same. Chase your passion, your dreams, your desires, and be a badass while doing it. Later.